You know, it's pretty amazing how ancient wisdom can take something as simple as a tree to unpack some of the biggest ideas about life itself. Well, today, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful and honestly one of the most confusing symbols out there, the date palm.
So it all kicks off with this really famous verse from the Psalms. For literally thousands of years, this one line has pretty much set the date palm as the gold standard, the perfect symbol for a righteous person. And, on the surface, that makes a lot of sense.
And you can see why, right? I mean, the traditional view is all about perfection. The palm is majestic, it stands perfectly straight and tall. Its fruit, well, dates are ridiculously sweet and nourishing. That was the biblical honey people talk about. And what's really incredible is that nothing on this tree goes to waste. The branches are used for roofing, the fibers for rope. Every single part has a purpose. It's this beautiful symbol of pure goodness, kind of like the great leaders, like King David. Okay, but here's where it gets weird. Here's where the paradox really kicks in. If the palm tree is this icon of perfection, then why is it also so difficult? It's covered in these sharp thorns, it's actually dangerous to climb, and get this, it's surprisingly fragile. So what's going on here? This isn't just a simple metaphor, there's a really deep contradiction hiding in plain sight. So let's really dig into this paradox. How can this one symbol of a good person also represent something dangerous and vulnerable? Well, as we're about to see, the tree's so-called flaws are actually the entire key to understanding a much deeper truth about what it really means to be great.
Okay, let's just break it down. On one hand, you have the ideal, right? Majestic, useful, sweet. But the reality of the palm, it's a totally different story. To get to that sweet fruit, you gotta navigate some seriously sharp thorns. It's a tough climb, and it gives almost no shade, no protection. But here's the real shocker. It's fragility. Unlike most trees, if you cut off the top of a date palm, it just dies. Forever. It doesn't grow back.
And that's when it hits you. These aren't flaws in the metaphor. They are the metaphor. The palm tree is teaching us that the path to greatness, that path of righteousness, it's not supposed to be safe or easy. It is a dangerous climb, and the higher you go, the more exposed, the more vulnerable you become. And if you want to see a perfect real-world example of this, look no further than the story of Mordecai from the book of Esther. His life is a masterclass in what it means to climb that thorny palm tree all the way to the top.
So think about it. Mordecai was this brilliant scholar who rose to become the second in command of the entire Persian Empire. He literally saved his people. He stood tall, just like that palm. But that success had a price. At the very peak of his power, some of his own peers, his own colleagues, actually started to pull away from him. They said he got too close to the monarchy and was neglecting his studies. His very greatness led to isolation.
So you have to be wondering, how does an ideal this fragile even survive? Well, the verse itself gives us a huge clue. The palm can only truly flourish when it's planted in the house of Hashem. What that means is it needs a perfect, protected spiritual environment to really thrive. It's this powerful, powerful ideal, but it's also incredibly sensitive to its surroundings. Okay, so the palm tree is the symbol of a beautiful, lofty, but fragile idealism, something that needs a perfect world to exist. Which is a nice idea, but maybe not so practical for the messy world we all live in, right? Well, that's because we've only been looking at the first half of the verse. There's a missing piece to this whole puzzle.
You see, the verse keeps going, and it introduces a second tree, the cedar of Lebanon. And this cedar, well, it's the key that unlocks the entire paradox of the palm.
Let's just put them side by side. The palm has to grow straight up, or it's game over. The cedar, it's a completely different story. When it faces a challenge, like a strong wind, it just adapts. It gets gnarled, it gets tougher. The palm's roots are deep, sure, but they're narrow. The cedar's roots spread out wide, giving it this incredible stability. So the palm is all about idealism, and the cedar is all about resilience. The palm flourishes in a perfect world. The cedar thrives in the real one. So you see what's happening here? The ultimate message isn't about choosing to be a palm or a cedar. No, true righteousness, as the verse suggests, is a synthesis. It's about blending both of these qualities together into one complete whole.
And that right there brings us to the full picture. A truly righteous person has the palm's straight arrow aspiration, always reaching for what's highest, what's best. But they also have the cedar's grounded real-world strength. They know how to bend so they don't break. They can adapt to whatever life throws at them because they are firmly, firmly rooted.
But wait, the palm has one last secret up its sleeve, and it's all about legacy. Its fruits, the dates, can be dried and provide food for ages. Its seeds are so tough, they found 2,000-year-old seeds and actually grew new trees from them. And, maybe most beautifully, new palms grow right from the base of the old one, a perfect image of a teacher passing on wisdom to their student.
So this whole palm tree paradox really teaches us that true greatness isn't just about reaching for the sky. It's about having the strength, the resilience, and the rootedness to survive the climb, and to make sure your legacy, your fruit, endures.
That's a really powerful idea to think about, isn't it? In our own lives, when we're going after our goals, are we only focused on that high-minded, perfect ideal, or are we also building the strength to actually thrive in the real world? It kind of leaves you with a big question. Which part of yourself are you working on today? Your palm or your cedar?